Travis Wayne Goodsell, here we go. As promised today, I'm going to take you on my journey through the filing, the motion of the filing that I'm going to do today. Remind you of the background of it. I'll skip the whole summary of it. We'll just start off with the most recent. I had filed a waiver of summons with the defense because Judge Furse was refusing to give the order for service of process. And the lawyers for the church refused to respond. They did not send back my copy of the waiver of summons, which they were required to do according to the rules and that were set forth in the process, which I followed to a T and did that video for him. Then the church missed the deadline. The lawyers missed the deadline to respond to the court. And I thought, well, okay, coronavirus caused the stop, caused the slowdown, and prevented them from filing. And so, well, great. Now what do? This is going to last for years. But then, 2 weeks later, within 2 weeks, they finally give notice of appearance to the court. Then they file the motion to dismiss. Except they forgot to provide the certificate of service to me. They didn't serve me with the motion to dismiss. They made a huge error. And so this Friday is the 14-day period for me to respond. But this morning, as I was looking for the phone number to contact Judge Furse, because there's the clerk of the court for the federal court, the general number. Then there's the specific numbers for the direct clerk for each judge. And I wanted that number to ask them if Judge Furse had been getting my emails. And turns out Judge Furse redesigned her web page on the government site for the federal judges of Utah and gave instructions as to how to proceed under coronavirus, though she didn't say it had anything to do with coronavirus. She just changed the process, gave one number, but insisted that both parties be involved in the phone call, otherwise email, and thus email the other party. And so, she was also talking about what to do to file motions. And knowing that I'm pretty sure I'm her only client, as her last day on the job, because she got fired for allowing the case against the church to proceed in Gaddy versus COP with Kay Birmingham. I'm sure you've heard that one. You haven't heard about mine. And so on the 30th of April, that's her last day. And that's just right around the corner. And so knowing that Gaddy's case had her recused because she got fired, it's clear that they purposely gave her something to do by assigning her my case. But her job was to dismiss my case, not allow it to proceed. And she appeared to conform by ignoring giving the order for motion of service. But I keep finding laws that I can use to proceed, regardless of the judge's inaction. And so, since I'm probably her only case, I don't. If Getty had her recused, I'm sure everybody else had her recused as well, so that her docket was empty. That I'm the only one left, because that's what they do in Utah once you're fired. You have no work, and you might as well just quit early. But they let her stay until the end of April. And so there was the change on her site, and I went, oh, isn't that interesting? And so it was an answer to the emails I'd been sending without directly specifying me and a response to me. So, alrighty. So this is, I set some things up for you first, the stuff that would take too long to do a video for, and we're already over 6 minutes. But I had to upload the other video as well and do this for you first, so that I didn't waste time typing it all up and researching what I needed to type up and wasting time on the video for you. And so I was able to watch Bad Boys for Life, and yep, I ride alone, I die alone on this one. I'm having to do it myself. Why is there a flashing? I don't see a flashing. Why is the light flashing? What's going on? Alright, so you notice that is now dark. And remember that when it was flashing? See, it's flashing again. Stop it. Anyway, I don't know. This camera. What's wrong with you? Trump and the federal GOP are trying to murder Americans. Governor Herbert issued an extermination order for Mormons here in Utah, and Nelson has been trying to murder Mormons as well. There's an all-out attack, and you guys aren't standing up and saying, hell no. It's just ridiculous. Trump's got protesters who want to die. Okay, anyway. So yeah, I'm the only one who's trying to save your life. That's kind of disturbing that me in my no position at all to do anything is the only one who's trying to save your life. And again, I remind you Mormons, wouldn't it be real cool if the real church history revealed that Joseph Smith Sr., not Junior, Sr., saved America in 1826? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't you love to go around telling that story? If only the church would finally reveal the true church history. Heber C. Kimball knew it. And so yes, Joseph Smith Sr. saved America in 1826, and nobody knows about it. Except for Heber. Heber knew. And of course, Joseph and Oliver, they all knew also. But yeah, Heber knew because of a later entry or comment that he made that got written down, where he said that he went to the Canandaigua Lodge to request becoming a 7th rank in the York Rites. Oops! He just revealed he's the enemy. And that he knew Joseph Smith Sr. saved America from Heber C. Kimball, who was on the... Anyway. And so yes, Joseph Smith was murdered in Carthage jail under the orders of the enemy of America. So here we go. This is gonna jaw drop you. If you're not just if you're Mormon, but those of you who are subscribers and those of you who are not Mormon, who are just wondering what the hell's going on, or if you've left the Mormon church and you're coming here because the title caught your eye, this is going to jaw drop you, literally. Well, let me proceed. So I followed the front page format in the United States District Court for the District of Utah. Travis Wayne Goodsell, plaintiff, versus Corporation of the President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, defendants. Case number 219 CV 00711, Judge Furse. Here is the motion for final default judgment, entry of default, strike motion to dismiss, disbarment and disciplinary action. I told you that would drop your jaw. I'm going for the jugular on these rookies who made a major error. Alright. I, Travis Wayne Goodsell, representing myself without a lawyer, move for motion for final default judgment, entry of default, strike motion to dismiss, disbarment and disciplinary action under the following statutes, rules, if known. Rule 55, default judgment A. Rule 55, default judgment B, 1. Rule 12F. Rule 8, disbarment and disciplinary action for the following reasons. And let's begin. I took some notes so that I can make this quicker and easier. So the first one we're going to do is Roman numeral 1. We're going to start with strike motion to dismiss. No, let's do I want to do these in the right order. If I do entry of default first and indicate that they're 2 weeks late, then deal with their motion to dismiss, striking their motion to dismiss, and then going for the disbarment, and then do a final default judgment. I think that's the order we're going to do. So this is 1. Entry of default. I think I can just keep going rather than exit down. Just do it one big paragraph. Let's see. Counsel for the defendant received waiver of summons it was 30 days, wasn't it? Crap. Yeah, I'm gonna go check my drawer with receipts, look for the receipt of the post office. Hang on. I specifically placed it in the okay, and it was on the day of February 27th. I'm going to put the exact date and time and the Taylorsville Postal Service to indicate that I have the receipt. Okay. Waiver of summons. In accordance with Rule 5. And accordance with Rule 5. I should do the full. It was like H something or other. So hold on, let me check it in a minute. Federal Court Rule 5. 5. Initial appearance. Okay, serving and filing pleadings. Okay, 5 is H, wasn't it? Oh, no, it wasn't H. D. There it is. Serving and filings. Incomplete. Certificate of service. No certificate of service. Oh, that's for the electronic filing. Certificate of service. Papers that have been plans to file in reasonable time. That's okay. That's when they were supposed to respond. Okay. Alright, that's not the one. So I need the different one. We need to put in no service of process. That's Rule 5D. After the complaint that is required to be served must be filed no later. Okay. To be filed. So capital B, certificate of service. If the paper is filed, and that's what they did not use email through Judge Furse's process, because I didn't receive it. And then okay. So that's under service process. Alright, so I'm looking for what am I looking for? Waiver of summons, that's right. Rule 4. Okay, Rule 4, and this is going to be H, isn't it? F, G, H. Serving a corporation. That's not waiver of service. Detention waiver. It's 30 days. There it is. Requesting a waiver. 1. Okay. So waiver. Rule 4. Sorry about this. I should have gotten this if I didn't know. And it's D, isn't it? Yep, it's D. What's H then? D. 1. Specify 1. Okay. Without being caused to sign a waiver, court must impose on the defendant. Okay, so they have to pay my mailing fees. Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. Alrighty, and so, yeah, there we go. 4D1 is what alright. Says by first class mail. And that's what I did. First class mail. Okay. I've got the receipt here. Alright. In accordance with Rule 4. Parentheses, lowercase d, parentheses 1. From the plaintiff received waiver of summons in accordance with from the plaintiff through the Harmons, Taylor's, post office on 27 February 2020 at 1:05 p.m. 1:05 p.m. Okay. Okay, so that should answer to that. Got the files. Alright. Counsel for the defendant finally filed a reply on 10 April 2020 and was at 9:25 a.m. And that was days late. 11 days late. Without giving cause for the delay. Without giving cause for the delay. Okay, we're calling for an entry of default, and that's all that needs to be done. They missed the time frame. There was no cause for why they were late by them, and so therefore, entry of default is being requested to be put in by the clerk. So 2. Without giving just cause, I think should include just cause for the delay. Because even I remember letting them know that because their deadline was on Saturday, which was 28th, that I was granting them till the 30th at midnight, or 11:59. And so on 31st I was going to go in. They just said, we're not even going to respond. And so I don't need to put in their thinking processes, it's just the facts. I served them with the waiver of summons, I gave the date, I gave the place, I gave the time, and indicating that I have the receipt. And the defendant refused to reply. They failed to reply in a sufficient time frame. And counsel finally did reply 11 days late. Those are the facts. They're not an attack, an ad hoc attack that Mormon apologists love to use to defend the church. This is just the facts. They missed it. They were late. And they didn't give cause for why they were late. 11 days late without giving just cause for the delay. Because it's in the docket when and what time they filed. And it was paper. That will come under the final judgment court for a certain sum. Alright, 2. We're now going to, let's see. I gotta put in the amount due for the entry of default. Or no, that's for the default judgment. Is the amount due. Okay. Alright. So yes, I'll be pulling out my list of church assets as the memorandum, or appendix. It'll be a part of the. Is this fading? Is this blurring on me? See, the lights are flashing now. What is going on? What's wrong with you? Are you quitting on me? You can't quit me. Alright, so now we're going to do strike motion to dismiss. Strike motion to dismiss. The reply to the court from the counsel for the defense filed a motion to dismiss. And we'll put 10 April 2020 at 9:25 a.m. without a certificate of service. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a long video, isn't it? Sorry about that, guys. Without a certificate of service. As the plaintiff has not yet been served. Plaintiff, therefore, cannot respond to the specifics of the motion but as it was 11 days too late, counsel for the defense is in default and contempt of court. Making such a motion an insufficient defense. And that's the direct quote. I'm putting in quotes from the rules, which is how I'm doing this, so that the judge will see the rules that I'm using, and then I'm quoting from the rules as I'm explaining why those quotes are justified. So, for striking this motion to dismiss against my case, the defense filed, and I again put in the date and time when it was filed, which is 11 days late. And I've already addressed the entry of default, so I again remind of number count 1, and so that's what their motion represents. It represents a default, it represents a contempt of the court, because they're late. You gotta be on time, can't be late. And so, because I don't have access to what is in their motion to justify why they did what they did, or why they're wanting to dismiss my case, I can't assume anything. And so I'm not going to put in assumptions. Even though I put it in my complaint in the first place, that they have no justified cause. And so let's again put justified cause somewhere in here. Let's see, counsel for the defense is in default and in contempt of the court not having a justified good cause, making such a motion an insufficient defense. Alright. 3. Here's the final one. Disbarment and disciplinary action. And you may say, well, just because they were late doesn't qualify them for disbarment and disciplinary action, Travis. There's more. I told you guys from the beginning, I already had it planned what I was going to do if the lawyers didn't respond. Way back last year, I told you this. In the videos, I told you there was going to be a surprise coming. Here's the surprise. Disbarment and disciplinary action. Both counsels for the defense Zane are he's got a famous ancestor in the Mormon church. Did you know that? He's got his own Wikipedia page. His ancestor does. Just like my ancestor did too. They got his information slightly skewed. Oh well. Swenson and I keep wanting to call him Fad because that's Taylor. Come on. It's right there. Or not. No, I did not put it in there. So where did I not? I know I put in, oh, that's where I put it in. At the certificate of service. Because Judge Furse on her webpage put in how we are supposed to serve one another from here on out. Taylor John Hadfield. Taylor John Hadfield. The counsels for the defense, whom both gave notice of appearance on 7 April 2020 at 10:46 a.m. and 1:23 p.m. respectively. Yeah, they did it separately. They didn't go in together, which is strange. This is, again, presenting the facts, so the judge sees that I'm presenting facts. I'm not bashing them with ad hoc jabs here and there. This is to show respect despite their lack of respect, or it's called contempt of court in court terminology. Okay, so both counsels I'm not even going to discuss their being late as a reason for disbarment, disciplinary action. I'm going right for the gold. Are agents? No. Did I use agents? What did I use in my court format? I think I used agents. Agents for the defendant as specified in the complaint. As agents for the defendant, the counsel for the defense are involved in the criminal actions of the defendant. I told you, this was a bombshell. As Mormons, you guys are committing crimes. If you defend the church while you're committing crimes, as a lawyer representing the United States government on behalf of your clients, disbarment and disciplinary action is required. You can't commit crimes. So this, I told you guys, that the church has nowhere to go. That's why they were planning to flee before coronavirus hit the fan. And I was going, what are they doing? This is what people do when they're about to flee. When they're about to flee justice, when they're about to flee the country. What's going on? And then coronavirus, and they got lucky. So, anybody who works for the church, but yet is employed by the government and does not serve the government over the church, you're committing a crime. This is rules of conduct undetermined. Both councilmen it's council with Mormon. Both council counselors pay the defendant protection money in order to participate in the temple ritual services, having both served, both participated in the defendant's pyramid scheme, missionary recruitment. Do you not understand this, Mormons? Do you not see how serious this is? You cannot serve two masters, because the judges and the lawyers for the church who are Mormon, they give loyalty to the church first, and thus allow the church to commit crime and get away with crime. They can't do that. And so this is why the council needs to be disbarred and disciplined. Such conduct is unbecoming of federal court counsel. Conduct unbecoming is the quote under that rule. Yeah, that's why the church has to hire somebody unrelated to Mormons, somebody who's not a Mormon. Because if they use a Mormon lawyer to defend them, they're automatically busted. Just like the reason why Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, is now in federal prison. You don't get a pass just because you're a lawyer. You can't commit crimes. It's real simple. So, have fun, boys. You had your whole life ahead of you, and then you wasted it on the church. Alright. And so now, final default judgment. Final default judgment. Probably should do this on the next page. Let's save, just in case we have power outage. I have to use my generators to finish this and email it. Of course, I'll have to hook up the, I'll have to do some weird stuff and it may not get sent out. You guys don't know about it to sabotage me because I've already sent it once you've heard this. Especially now that we're on almost 50 minutes into the video. Okay. With counsel for the defense. Failing to plead or otherwise defend within the reasonable time frame, thus providing an insufficient defense See, I'm not even bringing up the other stuff that occurred during this time frame of them trying to cover things up and all that stuff. I'm just going with the facts. So there was a lot that was going on behind the scenes as they sent me a death threat, as they tried to cover up that they had been committing crimes specific to my case, and they were trying to cover that up, and they got caught. So, yeah. Let's see. With counsel for the defense failing to plead or otherwise defend, that's a quote from the law, a rule, within a reasonable time frame, thus proving an insufficient defense. The plaintiff requests an order of final default judgment with the plaintiff's claim of some certain being either transfer of ownership of the corporation to the plaintiff, or a transfer it's not transfer, it's another word, or a payment to the plaintiff of an amount of all of the defendant's assets. Amount of all the defendant's assets. That's it. I don't have to do a tally of the numbers for an amount. She doesn't have to do it, the clerk doesn't have to do it. It's everything. Either the church hands me the keys, and I become the new president of the church, and they're not going to want to do that, or their only other option, sell everything, give it to me. And because they're not going to do that, I will then have to get a collections agent who I already lined up, and they're waiting, they're still sending me advertising email. I just give them the order from the judge, and they go right to work seizing the church's assets. And so, I'm hoping that the Judge Furse will finally respond. She's not responded ever, but as she made a notification on her site, and I'm pretty sure I'm the only case she has left, and if I'm not, she wants to finish her caseload before she leaves, and that's at the end of April. And so she wants to not have any loose strings when she leaves, which is why people were recusing her from cases, was for that reason. She's been fired. You don't want somebody who's going to be gone and cause delays and wrong decisions based upon her having been fired. And so, like I said, in other videos, she had the opportunity to say, hey, I've been fired, I shouldn't be handling any more new cases right now. Let's just finish what I got, and that'll be that. No, she had the opportunity to recuse, she didn't. And so then scandal occurred, and I motioned for her recusal to say, hey, you're not doing your job. I found out why you're not doing your job. You need to be recused. She never responded to that. And so she's wanting to take the case. And she made the changes on her website, letting me know how to do that. So now I'm doing that. And let's hope that that's what's going on. And that she's not just going to play me and run out the time, and then it's going to get sent to another judge to make the decision instead. And as we saw with Gaddy versus COP, her case lost. It's been dismissed. She lost. So, let's hope. So that's basically it. It took an hour. I still have to attach the list of all the assets. I'm not going to go over the assets with you. But the assets include investment companies. It's not just Ensign Peak Associates. It is a whole long list of others. And I can show investments that they had from Business Market, which became our Business Insider, which became Market Insider. They gave a link to the investments of the church. Many of whom would be hurting right now with coronavirus. So it's possible they sold their shares to collect the money. And so, that's something I could also provide. That's going to be a tough one. I might just provide the web link instead. We'll see. But you guys don't need to worry about that. But I was putting out a help for the properties that the church owns. I'm not talking about churches and stakes and temples. I'm talking about campsites, recreational areas. Church has those. It's a huge long list. And found out during that investigation, when I finally did find that list, that the church has been poisoning Mormon girls going to girls' camp during the summer. Unbelievable. And they've been doing it up until 2019, as last reported by the woman who was reporting on this, because she was a victim of the church's campsite poisoning. And my God. And so, I'll be listing those assets, the education things, the businesses. There's a site that lists the church's businesses. And so, yes, there's other investment companies, like I said, that the church is involved with. Thank you, Max Roth, for that list. And, my God. So, I'll provide that at the end of this, after the end of the certificate of service here. And I'll put in C attachment after certificate of service for a list of the known assets. that they will know that I know. Alright, so yeah, that's why I'm saying the church has trillions. Because when the $100 billion scandal came out, the church said, oh, this is what we do with every money that we get from all of our various businesses. Oh, is it? And so, yes, tithing is just one of the things that they get money from. All of their businesses, all of their investments. So, yeah, we're looking at a $1 trillion corporation. We are looking at a massive corporation. And you think Bezos is filthy rich with his $100 billion? Or Gates, as they seem to think he may be close to $1 trillion? No, not even close to what the church has. So understand that. This is history in the making. The church is on down. Did I put the waiver? I think I did, didn't I? Yeah, because I was telling you about it, so I must have done it. Yeah, there it is. Good. Okay. So that's it. Everything is typed, so that counts as a process. And they're all set up on the next page to list the assets. Alright? And I'm going to make sure I put in C supplement after certificate of service of the known list of assets for the defendant. Okay. See supplement after the certificate of service of the known list of assets for the defendant. And yes, we're looking at trillions. And so you're thinking, oh man, you're getting trillions while we're suffering under the oppression of the government and Utah and church. It's not fair, man. Give me some. I've already got it set up. I was going to set up a real charity. One where the members of the organization give to the charity to be distributed back to the members. Law of consecration. Remember that, Mormons? Wouldn't that be nice? So that was my plan. And the Book of Mormon tells us how it's supposed to be done. Doctrine and Covenants tells us how it's supposed to be done. It's not complicated. It's real simple. Could be implemented just like that. But we have to do some converting of buildings into distribution bishop storehouses. So that was my plan. I have no need for trillions. You know, I would probably request a few modifications with what I already have, but I purposely got what I want, and I don't need any more. But other than a few modifications, which petty cash, real simple, real easy. The first thing would be to get a different apartment. My hell, and I'll cheer that I'm gone, but you will notice a very dramatic change in the economy when the church loses all their money made. So, alrighty. Hour and 5 minutes. So, yeah, understand it's that. So, what do we do this? Yeah, if you're going to defend the church, you better be ready to take the fall for it. So, those rookie judges, or rookie lawyers, They were no match. They were lambs to the slaughter by the church. And they had no clue as to what was coming. But I told you, if they had done their research, they would have gone, I'm sensing that we shouldn't be lawyers for the church. We need to find outside counsel. Oops. So, there you go. Yeah, they didn't serve me. They put the rule for service. Yeah, Rule 5DBI. Did I put that in there? Let's see. Enter default. Counsel notified of summons. Failed to reply in insufficient time frame. The reply is filed without a certificate of service. Is not I did not. Good thing I was still checking. In accordance with Rule 5, lowercase d, uppercase b, lowercase I. Rule 5 D-E-I. Okay. So then I'm going to call D-E-I. Right, there we go. And so then I also provide the certificate of service. As I put the emails and the requirements as specified by Judge Furse on the homepage. Okay, we open that up. There we go. And what is that under? That's under the strike motion to dismiss. Yeah. Because, not only did they fail to file in time, they did not follow the rules of serving me with that motion so that I can respond properly, and cannot respond. 11 days late, counsel is in default in contempt of court, not having been justified good cause. And so they don't even explain why they're late and why they didn't serve me. And this is just a rookie error that's going to cost the church everything. Insufficient defense. Okay. Alrighty, that's that for that with that.